welcome to another episode of Farming in Social Distancing. Today we're going to talk to Dr. Joao Bitar, and he's going to help us understand how the process of breeding and soundness evaluation takes place and why this is important. The context behind our episode today is that in Florida, the majority of producers use natural service or use bulls. There's a low adoption of artificial insemination practices, and evaluating the health and the capacity of that bull to work in conception of that calf crop is very important. And for that, we have Dr. Bitar, which is going to be discussing what aspects we should be looking at and how to evaluate that bull. Dr. Bitar, good morning and welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Jonael and Francisco. It's a pleasure to be here again and help the Floridian rancher to learn more about the beef cattle industry.
So what's the situation in Florida? We talked about our culture, how we do things in Florida a little bit in the introduction. Can we discuss a little bit more about why it's important that beef cattle producers invest time in evaluating the capacity of their bulls?
Yeah, that's an important topic, Jonael, because the rate of a natural service here in Florida herds is like above 90%. So most all of the ranchers use bulls and not artificial insemination. And the bull has a big impact in the calf crop. So usually a bull serves more than 20 cows or so. Then if a bull is not good and sound to breed a cow, it can impact those 20 or more cows. So to make sure the ranchers has a good calf crop, important and starting point is to check and make sure their bulls are sound and able to breed.
Dr. Bitar, when is recommended to do this type of breeding evaluation in our herd?
So, Francisco, that's an important question. So the bull BSE or bull breeding soundness exam, it's recommended to do way before the breeding season starts, usually 60 days before, because this way you have time, the rancher has time to evaluate the bull. And then if something doesn't go well, either replace that bull or work with the veterinarian to treat and give a time to that bull recover.
Okay, so let's talk about the exam per se. What is the veterinarian looking for in the bull? What is he or she evaluating, and why is this relevant?
Well, the bull BSE, it's an examination of the physical characteristics and conditions of the bull at that time, as well as of the reproductive tract and the semen quality. So first we're going to check the bull overall, see if it's sound to walk, if they don't have any issues with their feet and legs, check their body condition score. We're going to check their eyes, their mouth, the skin overall, if the bull doesn't have any issues. Then after that, we're going to check the reproduction tract. We're going to check the navel, the umbilical, the sheath, the testicles. We're going to see if they are okay, determine the situation by that time.
Dr. Bitar, how does the bull age affect their performance?
Okay, usually, Francisco, the young bulls, they are still developing their body as well. Therefore, they cannot breed too many cows. And then also they are learning. So what we recommend usually is to get the younger bulls to put less cows with them, to don't wear them out, neither to put too much pressure on them in which they cannot impregnate the cows. As they get older, then they get mature, they're going to be able to breed more cows. But if you go to the other extreme, in which they are too old, then they might be compromised in servicing and breeding a lot of cows. So you need to be careful on that. It's very common in subtropical areas to have heat stress and then affect the testicles. So if there's any inflammation on the testicles, then it might compromise the reproductive performance of the bull. After that, we're going to check the internal repro organs and accessory glands to make sure the bull is sound. So once you check the internal accessories and repro tract, we want to make sure the bull is sound, because it's very common to have a inflammation of the seminal vesicles in the bulls, called vesicularis, that can be detrimental to the semen production.
So we do a 3-point inspection, basically. So we are looking at the capacity of the bull to look at the cows and to spot them from a distance doing their standing heat. We then verify the external reproductive tract, and then we also verify the capacity of that bull to produce semen, which is step number 2, right? We check the penis, we check the scrotum, we check the accessory glands, and now we take a specimen, right? So in taking a semen sample, what are we looking for in that semen? What are the qualifications for that semen to be in good condition?
Yes, that's an important part of the bull BSE. That's to evaluate the semen. So we get a semen sample, and we're going to evaluate concentration, the presence of the spermatozoids there, their ability to swim. We call motility, because that's important, because they need to swim and find the egg in the cow reproductive tract. And also to evaluate the percentage of normal spermatozoids. That's a very important point. And usually the veterinarians are able to do this. We call morphology. So we get a sample of the semen, diluted and stained, and make a smear. So in that smear, we're going to later evaluate under the microscope the percentage of normal spermatozoids and the abnormal ones. So there's a cutoff point in which the Society of Therogenologists recommended that the bulls must have more than 70% of normal spermatozoids to be considered satisfactory and then be able to breed. And that's important because the veterinarians are the ones able to do this type of evaluation.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. So we want to emphasize the importance of having a veterinarian perform the breeding soundness evaluation in Florida. It's a physical, complete exam that requires a lot of skill, a lot of testing, a lot of procedures. So we ensure that the bull is in optimal condition to then breed your cows. The bull health is a significant investment to the Florida rancher, and that's why having that veterinarian come to your farm and evaluate that animal is extremely important. So let me ask you another question. When I was in college and we were looking at the reproductive physiology, we had the opportunity to do some of these. We looked at electroejaculation as one of the techniques that we use for collecting that semen. Does that harm the bull in any way?
That's a very important question, Jonael. And right in the front, I say that doesn't cause harm at all for the bull. We're very concerned about the welfare. And then to prove that, whenever we have students around, or even the producers or ranchers, we kind of make a game or play joke with them to have them to hold the electro ejaculator probe, and then we turn the electro ejaculator on in the high power that we can, and nothing happened. So what's happened, that electricity that it's provided in the probe, it's enough to stimulate the accessory glands on the bull to make them ejaculate, and then doesn't hurt the bull at all. It's a way to be consistently, and then quick, and sound, and then very trustful way to collect a sample. So there's no welfare concern at all. It does not hurt the bull.
All right, Dr. Vitar, I want to know, how does the body condition score affect the bull performance?
It's important to have a balanced, adequate body condition score for the bull, because during the breeding season, that bull is going to have a task to breed 30 to 40 cows, I would say, during that period, usually 90 days, whatever is the breeding condition is. And then as the cow comes in heat, the bulls need to go find those cows and mate them. So the bull might not be having too much time eating or getting energy from the nutrition. So it must have some extra body stores to give support for the bull get the task done to breed the cows. We don't want the bull be too thin or low body condition score, as again because we want that extra body condition score. But we don't want the bull too fat, because then it's gonna wear them out really quick, and they cannot walk the long distance to find the cows and mate the cows. So adequate body condition is very good. Around 6, maybe 7 in the beginning of the breeding seasons is the adequate one.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Vitar.
When we're doing the breeding science exam, what other things the veterinarian can look for or can check our herd bulls?
It's very important to check that for some venereal diseases, such as Trichomonas, Campylobacter. So the veterinarian take advantage of that breeding sound exam opportunity and collect samples to test for those diseases. It has a huge detrimental impact on the calf crop, and then having the veterinarian performing the bull BSE and testing for those venereal diseases, it's very important. One more additional, it's to work with the veterinarian to develop and implement a vaccination program to reduce the chance to the bull to get infected with venereal diseases, or to transmit that to the cows. It's very common, the bovine virus, diarrhea virus, or BVDV and IBR, that cause detrimental impact on the reproduction. So make sure you vaccinate those bulls and test those bulls regarding their physical ability and reproductive ability before starting the breeding seasons, and take the adequate action to get the most of your bulls and get the most of your cows pregnant, and keep those pregnancy as well.
Dr. Vitar, thank you for your time to provide us education about this important topic. Just for summarize, it's important that all the cattle producers take in consideration 4 important things in the evaluation of their bulls. So the first one are the physical characteristics. Second is the semen quality. Third is the number of bulls per herd. And the last one, and another that is very important, is that be sure that your bulls don't have any sexual transmission disease or other disease that can affect the reproduction of your cows and the reproduction capacity for that bull. Thank you, Dr. Vitar, for all that you are doing for us. We will see you next time in Farming in Time of Social Distancing.
Thank you, Jonael and Francisco. It's always a pleasure to be here and to help the Floridian ranchers. And if you need more information, we are here in the College of Veterinary Medicine in Gainesville at UF, and I will see you in the next episode.
Yes, you will.
Thank you, Dr. Vitar.